Here with Concordia head women's soccer coach Chris Luther to preview the 2019 season. And as we stand today, several days now into fall camp, or at least 5 or maybe 5 days into fall camp. About middle of July, I think it was that we found out, obviously, that Coach Henson was going to accept a new opportunity for him. So you probably didn't expect to be in front of the camera in this position right now. But what does excite you about the opportunity you have in front of you?
Coming into this, I'm coming into this with a little bit of collegiate coaching experience under my belt, and probably the most exciting thing about this is the roster that Coach Henson left me with. We have a really good returning group of girls. Our freshman class coming in, we're all top quality recruits that Henson was pulling from last year. And fortunately, we didn't lose anybody. So I think right now our personnel is probably what I'm most excited about.
Well, a good thing for you is you were able to get on board last year as an assistant coach, so it kind of gave you an introduction to the team and the program already. What was maybe something you did learn about the team and the program going through last season?
Probably just the amount of drive and dedication that the girls have to put out a quality product. You're coming into this and you're looking at Henson's past record, and when they asked me to be the assistant last year, I knew that I was getting into a good program. So that's one thing that was really nice and refreshing to see, is just the dedication, the work ethic, how the girls were driven to be the best and to get into the conference tournament every year.
What was your favorite moment from last fall?
Oh my goodness, my favorite moment? There's so many. When anybody asks that, the one that sticks out in my head is TC's goal from half field. I mean, that's a highlight reel in itself, that goal. But really, there's just so many moments that stand out. Beating Midland to get into the tournament championship was probably a standout. That was a good moment for us.
Well, you mentioned you have a lot of experience. You've been a coach and a player at the college level. What are maybe some of your favorite memories within the sport of soccer?
Oh my goodness. When I was a player, there were some big moments that always stood out. Coming out of that, but that's long ago. So that's a tough question, Jake. There's so many. I'm going to bypass that one. I have no idea.
Okay. Maybe we'll come back to that.
We can come back to that one. Okay.
All right. Well, you certainly expect every different coach to have their own type of style. Is there anything you would be able to identify that is maybe going to be a little bit different now moving forward?
Yeah, probably the biggest difference that we're going to try to take moving forward. Coach Henson was definitely, anytime you talk to him, it was always defensive minded, which we're not going to necessarily push away from that, but we're going to look at scoring goals more so than we did last year, which was a successful campaign last year. But we're going to put the pressure on offensively. We're going to pressure maybe a little bit higher. And try and turn the ball over closer to our goal that we're trying to score on. We're still going to be a possession-based team. We're still going to work hard at defense and shut teams out. But I think we're going to try and work the attack a little bit more.
You said there's been a lot of success in the program the last several years. How do you make sure? I mean, what kind of things do you do to make sure that they're moving on from what happened in the off season and excited and looking forward to what's ahead?
Sure. We actually talked about that in our preseason meetings with the transition period. With the coaching staff changing in July, we sat the parents and the players down and talked through some of the expectations of the transition. And it goes back to the old cliche, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? Coach Henson had a lot of things in place that we're going to continue and that we're going to keep as far as procedures and policies and traditions because there's a good thing here already. So we're just going to try and complement that as we move forward.
When you look at some of the players on this team, every year you're going to lose some players, and it's difficult to lose some of them, like the Martins and Dieter.
Sure.
Everybody knew about, but like you said, there's still a lot of talent. What are you seeing from this roster so far through preseason camp?
So I'm going to take us back a little bit to last spring when we were playing without our senior class last spring, and we had a very successful spring campaign. So that was really exciting for us to watch how well we did in the spring and build on that, and all those players have returned. So when you look at the spine of our team, you've got Sarah Woothridge, Becky Freeman, Suds, Michaela Martinez, Madeline Haugen, Michaela Twido, back into Tori Sarah and Cheyenne Smith. So when you look at the center of our team, the core is very strong. So looking at how they performed in the spring and just building off that for the fall, and then we're just got to fill in the pieces on the outsides to complement that core in the middle.
We know the schedule that you got left is a challenging one outside of the conference, and then certainly the Hastings and the Midlands present challenges within the conference. How much is a talking point right now that you have to be ready pretty quickly once the season gets going?
Every coach will say we take one game at a time. So we're looking to just make sure that all the new players know our systems, know their responsibilities, know our formations, and then we're gonna work through our scrimmages and pick apart those scrimmages and figure out what we need to clean up and what we need to fine tune. Our non-conference schedule is very tough. So we're going to look at those, and we're going to try and come out of the non-conference in the best position possible, so psychologically and mentally that we're ready to move forward into the conference schedule.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, you got to be prepared with the different things you're trying to implement, but what is maybe the thing you feel is most important that you have to do between now and that first game to be ready?
Really, I think it's just settling on a starting lineup and then looking at who the first 3 or 4 women off the bench are going to be. So kind of one thing in the preseason, especially right now, that we're having to deal with is trying to figure out who goes where and kind of fit the pieces of the puzzle together. So that's probably going to be our most important thing before we get into the game schedule.
And this would be a little bit off topic, I guess, but everybody who's in education or athletics got to take a break during the summer. I know it looked like you got to go to some fun places this summer.
Because again, not knowing that my role would change, I like to travel a bit in the summer, and July was a good month. I had a birthday in July and went out to Colorado a couple times. I grew up in Montana, went there for a reunion, visit some old friends. So I was out and about a little bit this summer, so it's a lot of fun.